Howdy y'all, welcome back to Camp Shack Productions. Today we are going to tackle the most exciting issue when it comes to setting up your camping gear, and that is sleeping pads. Ooh.
Oh! Thrush, please!
So, you've decided you're gonna go out and pick up a sleeping pad to go camping with. Again, there are, I think, three very important factors you want to think about. What kind of camping are you going to be doing? Are you going to be backpacking where you need lightweight? Are you going to be car camping where you're either sleeping in the back of your car or just carrying it from the back of your car to your tent? So it's really important to figure out, what do you need this for? Do you want something that you can do both with, right? Second question you have to ask yourself is, what kind of seasons are you going to be camping in? Are you going to be camping only in the summer? Are you going to be camping in the summer, fall, and spring when you get cooler temperatures but it's not really cold? Or are you going to be camping all four seasons, planning on being in the snow and being really cold? So that's a really important factor in choosing your pad. So that's number two. Number three is price. How much do you want to spend? You can spend anything from about $25 up to something that's around $250 just for your sleeping pad. And it's really important to understand, what do you want it to do? How comfortable do you want to be? And what are you willing to spend to get that comfort? Because honestly, I'm not always a big believer in the more you spend, the better the gear. But when it comes to some of these sleeping pads, it really is important, especially with the air mattress style, that you know what you're getting into and you understand how expensive they are, but they can be worth it as long as you take care of them. They are not impervious.
So what you're saying is, I'm indestructible.
Oh, no. In fact, even a slight breeze could...
Indestructible.
So let's talk a little bit again about the different types of camping that you might be doing and what pads would work well for car camping. Car camping, you can do something like one of these foam pads. This is just seat cushion foam from Joann's Fabrics. You can get it in all different sizes, shapes, thicknesses. I think this is like 2-inch. And this work really well to lay down on the bottom of a tent or in the back of your SUV or car or whatever. Do note they can get wet and they will mold, and they cannot fold up. You know, they're really not very packable. You have to kind of take them as they come, but they're very comfortable, right? The next type of pad you have would be the typical air mattress style pad. What these are is that you take the pad and you blow it up. Either some of these have self-inflating valves, which I have never really found them to work, and some of them have little fans that you can put in. This one comes with a blow sack. So what this means is that you normally have 2 layers of fabric and you're able to put air in between this to give it the cushion that you need, to give yourself a little bit extra. And you know, I find these work pretty well. Thermarest, this is the big Agnes. I have never been able to get this thing to work. In cold temperatures, from the time I got it, it loses air out of its valve right out of here. It holds fine in warm temperatures, but in cold temperatures, it just deflates. So there's usually 2 layers. Some of these also, like this, my new Nemo, has a layer of Mylar in the center. So that Mylar bounces heat back just like it would in your window reflectors in your car, right? It bounces the heat out so that it doesn't get hot inside the car. Well, that will reflect the heat from the center of the pad back into you. This pad, however, does not have that. So there's, again, layers of even the different types of air pads there are. The other type of pad you can get is a foam pad, right? Something that is usually made out of foam, similar to this, or a little bit denser. This is one that I had. This is what I changed to after I found that a bunch of the older air pads wouldn't hold air. I switched to this, which is essentially this piece of gear right here, and it is just foam in the center. It's also a 3/4 pad. And it does have these poles on the inside so that you can turn it into your camp chair, which is super handy. However, I'm a side sleeper and this pad is not thick enough for me. I always hit the ground and I wake up with these huge bruises on my side. So I knew it was time to get away from that. This is also an example of a foam pad. I purchased this at Walmart. This is an Ozark Trail foam accordion style sleeping pad. You can see it's a little bigger, right? But it's got all kinds of just nice little features to it. First of all, it's high density foam. It's waterproof and it's $24, I believe, 24, 27, something like that. And if you were looking for something cheap, durable, and a way to start, this is a really good way to go. There's all kinds of companies that make these. They make them in different thicknesses. What I like about this pad is that you have one side that you can see is the orange here, and you've got one pad side that is silver. So this silver side will reflect heat, just like the Mylar blankets do, back onto you. The downside to this pad is that it's big, it's bulky. This is not gonna fit inside your pack. You're actually gonna need to use the straps that come with it to hold it together, and then I see most people strapping these to the outside of their packs. I also personally do not think that this is thick enough. I will definitely bottom out, and this would not make a comfortable night's sleep. But I wanted to show you guys that there are affordable options, and I'll also tell you how I'm gonna use this here in a minute. So this blue Thermarest pad, this is what it actually looks like. Yeah, when it's packed up. I used to carry this on backpack trips, believe it or not. This thing must weigh 3 pounds, just this sleeping pad. It absolutely blows my mind, the way that we've come. But this thing is super big, super thick, super heavy. This would be pretty good car camping, I think. However, I found that these just, they after a while, they stop working. I'm really hoping that's not the case with this Nemo. I've heard nothing but good things and I've really enjoyed it so far. But yeah, I used to lug this thing on backpack trips. Again, this is kind of a newer version of these. This is the Big Agnes, the one that leaks in cold air when the weather's cold, but works really good in warm weather. And this pad is comfortable. It's thick, it's comfy. It's a little bit heavier than my Nemo, but not much, to be honest with you. It just doesn't work at all in cold weather. So this is the pad that I've gone with. Again, this is really expensive. I have to baby it. I have to be careful with it. It's fragile. It has air inside of it. I definitely don't want to pop it. So one of the things I'd recommend is that if you do buy a nice sleeping pad, is that you get some sort of repair kit that you can just carry with you. I keep mine right here. It also does come with a few patches, but I just keep some extra repair gear inside of here because I don't want to end up sleeping on the ground, because if this isn't blown up, you don't get the insulation value. So let's talk about that next. RValue. What is RValue? Aside from the most confusing and broken system that there is out there. The RValue is what people use to rate insulation. It's actually used by people when they build your home. The insulation inside your house is R rated. Tells how much reflective heat comes back from that item. Sleeping pad companies do the same thing. However, there is no standardized method of this. Every company has their own version of RValues.
Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead rising from the grave.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
There's just a lot of debate in how to do these things. And I personally think let's just standardize it so that I know that the Ozark Trail, which is rated at a 2 RValue, is actually going to keep me warm up to that 2 RValue. So, and my Nemo Tensor, the insulated here, I think is rated up to a 3.5 or 4 RValue. So you need to understand what those R values are, because if it's going to be really cold, you want a higher R value out of your pad. That's going to insulate you better, and it's usually going to add one of those thermal reflective layers to bounce heat back to you. So, why did I buy this pad? I actually bought this thinking that in a combination, which you can combine pads, a lot of manufacturers actually recommend it.
Marriage. Marriage is what brings us together today.
I can combine this pad, this Ozark Trail, R value of 2.0, with my Nemo tensor, R value of 3.5 or 4, put them together, and that gives me that R value of 5.5 or 6. So what that means is that if I lay this down first, and I put this down and I have that thermal reflective side up, and then I pump up my Nemo tensor and I put that over the top, that increases my R value by 2 points. So theoretically, I should be able to sleep in cold, snowy areas. I definitely would not think that it's going to be exposed. And I also would recommend that before you go and get all this stuff and go out backpacking, that you do a small trip first and you test it. Make sure that your sleeping pad, your R value, and your sleeping bag and your whole sleep system works to keep you safe before you go hiking some distance away from your car and you're in an emergency situation. So,
What did you do?
Nothing. I stirred the tanks.
Whoa. Hey.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem.
that's kind of a rundown on sleeping pads, you guys. Again, there's no right or wrong. Everybody has a different opinion as to what they want to do. I personally want to carry a little more weight and sleep more comfortably. Some people like a really light pad, and they don't mind being a little less comfortable so that they can save on weight.
The color game and the remote control and the lamp, and that's all I need. And that's all I need too. I don't need one other thing. Not one. I need this.
My advice to you would be, again, figure out first of all, what kind of camping are you going to do? What kind of weather are you going to be camping in? What do you need to stay warm and safe? How much money do you want to spend on your sleeping pad before you go out and buy it?
Tell you on the plane.
Plane. What are your superpowers again?
I'm rich.
I hope you enjoy these tutorials, you guys. Let me know if there's something you want me to talk about the outdoors. I think I'll do some stuff on tents a little bit later here. And I'm getting ready to head down into the maze in southern Utah, so I should have some really fun content from that. But thanks for sticking around if you made it all the way to this point, and I appreciate you very much. All right. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe. I was told I had to remind you guys to subscribe. Only like 20% of the people that watch our videos are subscribed. So if you're watching this, you like what we're doing, please hit that like and subscribe button. All right. Be well, my friends.